So thank you so much, everyone who has joined us for our summer visit day. This is just kind of a general visit for you to learn a little bit more about everything about Simpson. So let's just go ahead and get started with our agenda. So first, we're going to hear a brief message from President Kelleher. Next, we are going to be covering the academic experience at Simpson with Professor Chad Tim. Then we will be covering career development with Bobby Sullivan. We also are going to have a student Q&A tonight. So like I said, any questions that you have about like campus life, please enter those for our student Q&A and we'll get to those later on. I will be talking briefly kind of about the admissions process, briefly talk about financial aid as well, and then we'll wrap things up if you guys have any final questions. So I think that we will just go ahead and get started with President Kelleher.
Thank you. Good evening, and it's wonderful to be with you here tonight. So deciding on where you're going to college, it's a big decision, and we couldn't be more excited that you're considering Simpson College. The college experience is about taking chances and making new friends, being part of a community. It's about challenges, and it's about acquiring the knowledge and skills that will prepare you to take advantage of a lifetime of opportunities. If you want to be in a town where you can walk to stores and restaurants, but have access to everything a big city offers, if you want to be somewhere where students are actively involved in things like sports, theater, music, debate, or maybe Greek life, and at a place that values diversity, equity, and inclusion. And if you want to be at a college where faculty, staff, and even the president know your name, and at a place that'll provide opportunities for you to do research with faculty, and if you want to be at a college with small classes and individualized attention and have an educational experience that will lead to a meaningful career in addition to making lifelong friends, then Simpson College is for you. Simpson is all these things and oh so much more. Simpson's a place where students are engaged, they're smart and motivated, and they like to have fun. They also care about each other in the college. We're hoping to be on campus soon, so you can see what a special community we are and all the ways we would be committed to your success. I want to just say thank you for joining us tonight to learn more about the Simpson experience.
Hey, thank you so much. We are going to move right into academics at Simpson with Professor Chad Tim.
Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Chad Tim. I'm a professor in the teacher education department at Simpson. And for about the next 10 minutes, I'm going to talk to you all about Simpson College from an academic perspective, from a faculty perspective. And to give you a little bit more background on me, I'm a Simpson graduate myself. I went to Simpson back in the 1990s. I wrestled at Simpson College. I wrestled in the national tournament. And so I know what it's like to be a student athlete at Simpson. I also married a Simpson College graduate. And the oldest of our 4 children, my son Bailey, graduated from Simpson College in 2019. And so I have a unique perspective as a professor who teaches at Simpson, but also as a former Simpson student and as a parent of a Simpson student. And so I kind of I think I'm running for office for Mr. Simpson for 2020, 2021. We'll see if I win that honor. But from a faculty perspective, there's 2 things that I really want to focus on in my time with you tonight. The first is the kind of faculty that you're going to be interacting with at a small liberal arts college like Simpson College. And what I can tell you about the faculty at Simpson College is that we are going to get to know you. And when you think about picking a college, it's a difficult decision. It's a decision that has a lot of factors that are involved, and we take that seriously. And so when you come to Simpson College, what we promise you and what we assure you as faculty members is that you're going to be in small classes. In the teacher education department, for example, most of our classes are between 15 and 20 students and rarely over that. And that helps us get to know you. That helps us engage you individually in our class sessions. That helps us develop relationships with you that will help to advise and to mentor you as you seek to become whoever it is and whatever it is that you wish to be in your time at Simpson. And what I mean by that is that when I see you in the coffee shop, I'm going to say hi to you and I'm going to ask you how you're doing. I'm going to be at the volleyball games and the basketball or football games and the vocal performance concerts, and I'm going to congratulate you on the work that you do. And so Simpson is a school that allows us as faculty to get to know you in a way that helps us to advocate for you. When you're a senior and you are applying for graduate school or you are entering the world of work, I want to write a letter of recommendation that speaks to who you are as a human being. And I can't do that if I don't get to know you. And so at Simpson faculty, we are committed to developing meaningful relationships with our students that help them to learn and to grow and ultimately to accomplish and to achieve all of their goals. And, frankly, as a faculty at Simpson, there are some things that we honestly believe that we do better than other folks can do. Number one, we capitalize on our location. We are in Indianola, Iowa, and it is like a little utopia in the middle of Iowa at our campus. It's incredible and it's fantastic, but we're also 20 miles from the south side of Des Moines, Iowa, which is the growing urban metropolitan area that has a profound number of opportunities as it relates to internships and possible job opportunities. And so we think that we really capitalize on that and take advantage of that in meaningful ways. We're going to teach you to think deeply. And at Simpson College, as a faculty member, our job is not to teach you what to think. Our job is to teach you how to think and to give you the tools necessary for you to go out into the world and do what it is that you have always wanted to do. And in my classes, my background is in the philosophy of education, and so I challenge my students to be Socratic heroes. And I define Socratic heroism in 4 ways. One is to question all assumptions. At Simpson, we're going to challenge you to question your own assumptions and your classmates' assumptions and your faculty members' assumptions, and to interrogate them and investigate them and to question them and to come to understand concepts that maybe you're not familiar with in a more complex and sophisticated way. We're also going to challenge you to recognize the limits of what you know. Socrates famously said that folks think I'm wise, and I'm really not. If I'm wise, it's only because I recognize that I don't have all the answers. And other folks think that they have all the answers. And so if I am wise, it's because I recognize that there's no way that I could possibly know everything. And so challenge 1 is to challenge all assumptions. Challenge 2 is to be intellectually humble. Challenge 3 is to recognize that we have a duty and obligation to help and not to harm our society. We grow up in a democratic society that provides us with profound privileges and opportunities, but we also have to hold that society accountable. And one of the things that we do at Simpson better than most schools or any school that I'm familiar with is the way that we get you connected to the world outside of the classroom. And one of my favorite philosophers is an educational philosopher. His name is John Dewey. And John Dewey was an early philosopher, pragmatist philosopher in the early 20th century. And John Dewey said that education is not preparing you for life. Education is life. And at Simpson, we take that incredibly seriously. In my classes and in my colleagues' classes, we're not just preparing you for something that's going to happen down the road, and we are doing that. We're also preparing you for the world that you're living in right now. We ask you to bring that world into the classroom when we talk about it. We ask you to bring what we teach you in the classroom out to the world and to make a difference. And at Simpson, faculty are incredibly committed to teaching you how to apply what you're learning in our courses to the world outside of school, how to bring your own lived experiences to the classroom in ways that help you to learn in deeper and more profound ways. And there aren't many schools, frankly, that are as committed to doing that as Simpson College. This is the 3rd institution of higher learning that I have been a professor at. I was a high school history teacher for 15 years before that. And I've never been around a group of faculty and staff that are more committed to student success, more committed to teaching young people how to make a difference in the world than the faculty at Simpson are. So where am I at here? Towards the end of what I'm going to say is that I teach a 1st-year seminar. So here you might be asking, well, how are you going to do all that? Okay, so you told us everything that faculty are going to do at Simpson from an academic perspective. Well, how do you do it? Well, one of the ways that we do it is we have a general education curriculum that is structured in a way that has meaningful beginnings and meaningful endings. And what I mean by that is that when you come to Simpson, you'll have a full year, 2 semesters, where you will take courses with other first-year students, and you will be exposed to and challenged to think about issues like civic engagement, like diversity, equity, and inclusion. We will teach you how to write well. We will teach you how to think critically, and we will connect you to the college in a way that helps you to know what it is that you need and where to go to get it. We intentionally spend time in your first year experience focusing on that. We build a learning community. At Simpson College, President Kelleher mentioned the Simpson experience. The Simpson experience, that's a phrase that's been around for a very long time. It was a phrase that was around when I was a student at Simpson. And when I think about my Simpson experience and the Simpson experience that we try to help foster for you, it's both a personal and a communal experience. The journey is going to be yours. You are going to choose where you go. You're going to choose the path that you take, but you are going to engage in that personal journey as a member of a community that supports you, that acknowledges you, that recognizes you for who you are, and that lifts you up when you need to be lifted up and helps you up off the ground when you need to be picked up. And so the Simpson experience is no joke. It is a personal and a communal experience, and it's pretty profound and significant. And what we hope to do as a faculty through the academic offerings that we have, we hope to help you identify or build on a passion that you have, connect it to a need that the world has, develop skills and grow in being good at it, and try to find a way to link it to a career where you can earn a living. And we believe that at the center of those 4 components is a meaningful and purposeful life. And that's what we hope. When you leave Simpson College, you have engaged in this experience, both personal and communal. You have been challenged to think critically in ways that you're not used to thinking. You have come to understand new concepts or familiar concepts, maybe deeper and in a more sophisticated way than you knew before. And you're going to have relationships with your classmates and with staff members and with faculty members who advise you that are going to put it on the line for you when it comes to writing those letters of recommendation and helping you get those internships so that you can achieve your goals and your dreams and have that success after college. So I am excited for the opportunity to get to know you better. I hope that you can find a way to get to campus this fall or spring, to have a visit, to sit in on a class, to sit down in the coffee shop with a faculty member in an area that you're interested in, and to learn more about how committed we are to our students at Simpson College. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Dr. Tim. We are going to move right along and talk about career services with Bobby Sullivan.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. As Laura mentioned, my name is Bobby Sullivan, and I am the Director of Career Development here at Simpson College. I have been at Simpson College for a little over 7 years, and will tell you personally what a wonderful place it is. And I want to spend some time introducing our office, as well as the ways that we interact with the academic side of campus that Dr. Tim was explaining. I also hope to weave in some of the things that I'm learning about you. So I have enjoyed your introductions, hearing about the academic interests you have, your career interests. So I still have my chat box up. If you haven't had a chance to introduce yourself in that chat box and to tell us a little bit about you, I encourage you to do so. That will help me as I am explaining a bit about career development at Simpson College. You have heard the phrase meaning and purpose from both President Kelleher and from Dr. Tim, and I will use that phrase as well. So we want you to graduate from Simpson College, but not only to graduate with meaning and purpose. And we believe that you will find that when you find a merge between the things that you care about, your passions, and the things that you're good at, your strengths. But what Dr. Tim had added into that is, what does the world need from you, and how are you going to make a living at it? So in addition to finding that meaning and purpose, we want you to be competitive for whatever it is that you want to do after Simpson. So for many of our students, that's to get a job, to go right into the workforce. For others, it's to go to graduate school. Perhaps it's to serve our country or our world. Maybe it's to lead within the military. These are all outcomes that we see from Simpson College students. And we want to help you to determine what your first choice is following graduation, and then help you prepare for that. So to help you to know the types of skills that are valued, the types of experiences that will be important for you, and how to time different parts of that preparation. So as I break down career development, I want to explain it in 3 E's, if you will. So we help students first to explore. We help students second to gain experience. And third, we help students to exit. So I know when you were introducing yourselves, there was at least one student who said, you know, I'm not exactly sure what it is that I want to major in, but I know that I like music, for example, or I know that I like political science. You know, here are some of the courses that were interesting to me. Well, at Simpson College, we are going to help you to explore. So within that first year and even into that second year, it's not going to be expected that you are exactly sure on that major. And even if you are sure and you decide to change, we're going to support you in that process. We want you to take all sorts of different types of classes that are interesting to you. We want you to get involved in clubs and organizations to see the types of ways that you end up liking to spend your time. We want you to job shadow. We want you to meet our employer partners and our alumni network, because the more you can learn about yourself in those couple of years, the more focused you'll be on deciding an academic interest. So our curriculum is really designed in a way that allows you to be flexible and to get out there and to try some different things. Our office is here to support you one-on-one in that process. So as Dr. Tim mentioned, how faculty like to get to know you, as do staff. So we like to get to know you in terms of the values you're bringing to Simpson College, the strengths that are part of how you are wired, your personality type, your interests, and how all of those things play into your major and your career choices. Those are conversations that we can have on that one-on-one level. We can also do things, as mentioned, like job shadowing. In fact, we have an entire May term course that has a job shadowing component. So at Simpson College, we have a fall semester, a spring semester, like you would see at most schools, but then a May term that you take one course and it's 3 weeks. And so our office teaches a course just for first and second year students dedicated to helping you explore majors. You go out and you shadow for 40 hours at up to 3 different organizations, and then you come back and you reflect and you get ready to go into that sophomore or junior year. So there are some pieces in place at the institution to help you really navigate that big question of what do I want to major in, or double major, or major and minor, and how am I going to pair those things together? Later in the call, when you have the opportunity to visit with our students, I encourage you to ask them how they selected their major. Have they ever changed majors? Did they potentially pick up something they never thought that they would study based on a really great course or experience, but to hear more about their academic interests. Once students have an idea of what they want to study at Simpson College, we then move into that second E of helping students to gain experience. So there are so many ways that students can gain experience in relationship to their career development. So I mentioned that on-campus involvement, clubs and organizations. I saw from one of you that there's an interest in computer science or software engineering. One of the ways that you might get involved is to do a competition. There are some programming competitions both on the campus level but also regionally where you could compete with students from other institutions. I noticed that there were students who were interested in business and political science. Another great way to get experience is to do an internship. At Simpson College, about 80% of our students will do at least one internship prior to graduation. Now, some of you are from Iowa, so some of you may be interested in doing those internships right here in Iowa, or even if you're from out of state and you want to take advantage of being so close to the capital or this wonderful city for young professionals. But others of you are from out of state, I see. With those internships, you can do them really anywhere that you have an employer to support you, and you have the ability, if you're interested in earning credit, to do the academic work that's associated. We value internships in such a way that we allow you to earn up to an entire semester's worth of credit for those experiences. Sometimes we'll have students who spend just a full semester doing an internship. So for example, with that political science student, you might take a semester where you are working as a clerk, or you are in Washington, D.C., and you are working at the Capitol. Or perhaps you're a student who's interested in accounting, and it's important for you to see what an entire tax season is like. So you might spend your semester that way. Other students might do internships along with their courses. So say, for example, I'm going to take 3 courses instead of 4, and instead pick up some internship credits. President Kelleher mentioned earlier our proximity to Des Moines. We find that our students are able to not only take classes in Indianola, but then travel to the metro in order to get that internship experience. So it's just an awesome blend of that small campus feel with just the opportunities that the city can provide. And when it comes to those experiences, you have a dedicated team to help you find the experiences, to help you put together strong applications for them, to help you sharpen your interview skills, put together an online presence that's going to give you the best first impression. We're going to be there to make sure that you're able to secure those experiences. Just yesterday, I was doing a practice interview with a student who was getting ready for the final round of his interview process. And anytime we do those practice sessions, we are tailoring our questions to what is the organization and what is the job and what can we expect they're going to ask you, to make sure that he was as prepared as possible, but also confident going into that opportunity. Because at the end of this, we want our students to be able to exit confidently. So one of the parts of my job is I track what happens to our graduates. So within 6 months of their graduation, where are they going on to work? What are they doing with that business major? Or what are they doing with that engineering major? So we are following up with them to hear their great stories. And in fact, there's a whole series of stories being featured right now on our website about the most recent class of 2020 graduates. So I encourage you to check those out. But as I look at the chat, I see engineering pop up. Well, then I could tell you the story about Zach, who studied physics at Simpson College, got an internship with an organization called Power Pollen, and now he is doing engineering for this amazing startup company that has found a way to pollinate crops differently. He was really innovating in a special way. And after that internship, they offered him a full-time job. And so that's his first destination, is from Simpson to that first full-time job in Ankeny. Or I could tell you a story of a student who doesn't go right into the workforce, but goes on to graduate school. So maybe goes to law school, or goes to medical school, or goes to school for vocal performance. The types of programs that our students go to is very vast, and lots of opportunities for that. Or the student who, right after Simpson, went to Mazatlan, Mexico in order to do service. And she was there until COVID brought her home. So now we're chatting about what that next step is going to look like. And you're hearing me say that that relationship doesn't just stop when our students walk across that graduation stage and go on into the world. We're keeping in touch with them as alumni. They're hosting our students for internships. They're going on to be mentors of our current students. So should you choose to come to Simpson College, you're not only going to be a part of our family for the 3, 4, 5 years that you're with us, but beyond that, okay, beyond that is you have your own children come back to be students, or as you find ways to engage with us in your next steps. So with that, I welcome the chance to tell you more, but I also want you to hear from our students as well, and what Chad and I have shared in relationship to their own journeys and what it means for them to be Simpson students. So thank you for the time, and look forward to talking more.
All right, thank you, Bobby. So yes, if you guys do have any questions, specifically for Dr. Tim or for Bobby, like about internship opportunities, please enter those now in the chat so we can maybe circle back around and get those questions answered at the end of our session. We do want to move on though, so we can do our student Q&A. Unfortunately tonight, Emily and Ethan were not able to join us, but we do have Chase here
Laura,
with us.
I'm here.
Oh, hello, hi.
Joe logged in on my
Chase was,
Zoom, so
I
that's
was
why
going to
my
say, we
name's
didn't want
Joe
to put Chase on the spot there.
Yeah.
Well then, Emily, would you like to start by introducing yourself? And as you're doing that, if everyone else on the call, if you have any questions that you'd like to ask our students, please enter those now into the chat while we have Emily and Chase introduce themselves.
Perfect. Hi guys, I'm Emily. I will be a senior in the fall, which is crazy to think about. I'm majoring in business management, psychology, and then I have a minor in health services leadership. I am planning to go to law school after Simpson. I just took the LSAT and still preparing to take another one. So hopefully I'll get those admissions paperwork all filled out for the fall. So I'm really excited about this next step. I play softball at Simpson. I was president of Pre-Law Society last year. I did mock trials, speech and debate, kind of a little bit of everything. I've done intramurals. So it's definitely a very awesome environment at Simpson, just like being able to be involved in a lot of things. I forgot to say I'm from Aurora, Colorado, so I'm from out of state. I graduated with 700 students in my class. So Simpson is a lot smaller than my high school, which was something that was kind of scary to me at first, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. Just the small environment, being able to be on campus and know a lot of faces, especially from being so involved. I get to do a lot of different things and meet a lot of different people. So it's just amazing, especially networking wise. So there are so many events that go on at Simpson's. Speakers come in, all of our clubs. We have a billion clubs of anything that you'd be interested in, and those speakers come to those. So you get a lot of great opportunities to get your foot in the door in front of different clients or businesses to be able to score those internships like they were talking about. I've gone home every summer, so I've had 2 internships so far. I got to actually work with a defense attorney my first summer, but I wouldn't count that as an internship, more of just a shadowing job. So there's definitely a lot of opportunities, and just being able to do more things at Simpson is a great advantage, and just having that one-on-one time with your professors has definitely helped me excel and prepare for that next step. So if you guys have any questions for me, put them in the chat. I see some questions going on, but I'll let Chase take it over.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Chase Henry. I'm actually going to be a sophomore at Simpson. I'm involved in Greek life, SGA. I'm in the athletics department as well. I play tennis here. My majors are finance, economics, business management, and my minor is business data analytics. I am from Mount Air, Iowa, so about an hour and 15 minutes away. And so far in the past year, the biggest focus of mine has been student government, and I started off as a class senator, and then at the end of the year ran for the class president. And one thing that Simpson does really differently is your tuition that you pay, a small portion of that goes directly to student government, and student government's job is pretty much that we assign funds to different clubs and organizations, which there's so many on campus. You'll definitely find something you love. But we have a certain amount of money allocated to us, which we then allocate to certain groups on campus, and just to make the student life experience better than other places, which is really cool to have on campus. If you have any questions for me personally, you can private message me, or like at the end when we wrap up, I can answer them for you as well. Nice to meet you all.
So we did have a question that I would like to ask both of you from Michaela. What helped you pick your major and made you sure it was the right fit for you?
Chase, do you want to start, or do you want me to?
You can start. Go ahead.
Okay. So I like to say that my business management major is for my parents. just because it's a super wide variety of things that you can do after college with that major. Not to knock it in any way. I love that major and I'm super glad I have that, especially in the internships I have now. Just having that management side and just how businesses run. You get exposure to finance and things like that. But I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I liked law, but I was kind of scared to go to law school and make that jump and really decide on that. So that's the best thing about the liberal arts education is you get to take multiple different classes because we have a system where you have to take certain designated classes and everyone's like, the gen ed, like it's not really gen ed. It's to get you immersed in education and be able to take classes like multicultural communication and diversity and all of these things that make you a more whole student. So I got to take some psychology classes and I love psychology in high school, just wasn't sure if I was going to go that route, and I fell in love with it and decided I was going to double major then. And then I also took some health services classes because I liked healthcare, more administration side because I don't like blood. So that's kind of how I got to that point. But that's what I love about Simpson is I have had so many opportunities to explore different courses. I've taken poli-sci courses. I've taken obviously business management, psychology, other areas where it's kind of like a weird mix. Whenever people are like, what are you majoring in? And I tell them, they're like, that's kind of weird because it's not like business management and accounting. Like those are pretty normally paired. But at Simpson, you can do whatever you want. And I just think that's amazing. So your first year, I'd recommend you try out a bunch of different classes that you're interested in because no matter what, you're going to have to get credits out of certain classes. So you won't be behind at that point. But also when you register, you have your advisor right there with you. So it's definitely very guided along the way. So that's what I appreciate about it. Go ahead, Chase.
All right. So I would also say my parents had a pretty big impact. Both of them are pretty well-known figures in the community and they have a great network of people. And I kind of wanted to create that for myself as well. So business management was the original plan when I was at SOAR. And then I met my SC 101, which is you get to pick your SC 101 and then you meet your advisor, which the professor of that class will be your advisor for your first year, second year, however long you want them to be before you decide a major. So from there, I got to know my professor pretty well, and he led me to meet someone else in the finance economics department. And from there, I kind of found that it was something I'm super interested in. And then from the classes that were required for the finance economic, I took something that actually sparked an interest in business data analytics as well. And not all students are like Emily and myself, where we sort of have some kind of plan. Some of my best friends came on a pre-med track and decided to go accounting, or vice versa. I actually have two really close friends that were in those same exact positions. So don't be worried if you don't have a plan. Your first year is pretty much created to open you up to a lot of different opportunities and networking and figuring out which professors teach well for you and stuff like that. So yeah, just keep an open mind, especially in your first and second year.
All right, thank you guys for sharing. We did have another question. This one's going to be probably for you, Emily. Can you tell us what the speech and debate environment is like at Simpson? Talk about your experience with speech and debate.
So that was my freshman year, freshman, sophomore year. So it's kind of far away, but that's something that pushed me out of my comfort zone. I only was able to participate in softball in high school. I took a speech and debate class, but just because my school was so big, the different clubs demanded a lot of your attention, and so I just didn't have time. So again, that small school environment has helped me branch out. The speech and debate program is fantastic. Spencer Waugh is amazing. He didn't even know me and reached out to me and was like, hey, I saw you had some debate experience. Would you want to join the team? And they're nationally ranked. And I'm like, I'm terrified. Why do you want me on your team? But the things that I learned from there and my experiences being able to compete in that way is so rewarding and terrifying at the same time. But the team is amazing. They push you both academically and just being able to talk to others and defend your point. And I just think that they offer so much more than an educational experience, but being able to become more confident in yourself. So I love the team. I'm still friends with a lot of the people on the team. They were actually in my Simpson colloquium class, the SC 101 class. So that's kind of how my path went there. Since then, other areas of interest have taken my time, but I really appreciated doing speech and debate. So I participated in public forum, and then I did mock trial my sophomore year. And that takes a lot of time, but it's very fun. And being a lawyer, I just wanted to or not being a lawyer, but wanting to be a lawyer, I wanted to have that experience. But yeah, a very supportive group that does very well and is very successful. So it's kind of awesome coming from a small college in Indianola, Iowa, and we have like national rank. So I would definitely try it out if you're interested at all. And you can try it, and if you don't like it, that's okay. But if you love it, then you have something awesome for the next 4 years.
Thank you. Another question that I see here from Sarah: what is being a student athlete like? How is the recruiting process? So do either of you have experience with athletics at Simpson? Are you involved?
I play softball.
Okay.
I've played since my freshman year. I found Simpson. I did like a big college search of things, like putting in things that I was interested in, and then like some random website generated a bunch of colleges. And Simpson popped up, and I wasn't really sure I was interested just because it was in Indianola. I was kind of scared about that. But I reached out, I filled out the athletic page, and coach got back to me right away. And so I went on a visit and completely fell in love right away. And it wasn't about softball for me. It was just about all the other opportunities. I always tell everyone softball is the cherry on top to it all. So I get to stay in shape, play my sport that I love, and just continue it for this last year. So I would say it was amazing. All of our coaches are super interconnected at Simpson. Just being a student athlete on campus is a pretty special experience. You get a different feel of it. And just it's something that you're involved in, and people who you meet are your friends lifelong. So it's a fun process. It can be stressful at times, as is picking a college in itself. But my recommendation to anyone is you pick the college for the college and not because of the sport. And so I picked Simpson first, and then softball just kind of fell into its place. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely also would say the same thing. I filled out the athletic page and then came on a visit during the winter, which is an awkward time for a tennis player, to meet my coach. But it was extremely unique because I actually got to meet the whole team hitting on their own time in the gym. And I literally got to go down to the bottom of the gym, which is really cool for someone who is brand new to the college, and you get to go down on the gym floor and just meet with college athletes, which is extremely unique and wasn't offered at any of the other schools that I visited. So I got to meet all of the players, and then they gave me their info. We chatted over that summer. They sent me their workouts they're doing, stuff like that. And then when I got here in the fall, that's when I was extremely nervous, because coming in as a freshman, in high school, I played sports with the same kids, the same students for my whole life. And then you come to college and you don't know anyone, but the freshman group will literally be my lifelong friends. They're my best friends, everything about the tennis team I love. And we're a very tight, close-knit community. Our coach texts us all the time. It's a really, really cool experience, and it's something that's very different from bigger schools for sure.
Right. Thank you guys both for sharing. I think those were all the questions that we had for our students. I'd like to throw one more out there. Could you guys both tell me what your favorite thing about Simpson is?
I want to go back right now. I love Simpson. I love being on the campus. Just the people that you meet is the best thing. I miss my professors a lot, and I miss seeing everyone every day, and being cut short in March was just
the worst thing ever. So I'm praying that we get to go back. I mean, right now it looks okay, but just being on campus and seeing people every day that care about you is just really fulfilling. So yeah, just the community there. That's what I love the most.
I would say the community and the environment. Like, I actually am here now I'm in summer housing. I work here in Indianola, and I walk around campus all the time, and I'm ready to walk to class and have 10 to 15 people smile and know your name personally. Professors in particular, it's just an amazing experience that I took for granted my first year, and now just like looking back on the spring semester being cut short, it's something you really, really miss. You really miss, and even eating, like campus dining, the person who scans your card. It's just like people like that are so nice, and you create relationships with that you don't really recognize until you get it taken away a little quicker than you thought. That's something I miss, the environment, students, and definitely the faculty.
All right, well, thank you so much, Emily and Chase, for being here with us tonight. Okay, so to kind of wrap things up for tonight, I am going to go over just some admissions basics for you guys. This first slide, really most of this has already been covered by our past speakers, but I will go over it here briefly. So Simpson obviously is a small private school. We have about 1,200 full-time undergraduate students. So student to faculty ratio is about 12-1, which, as Dr. Tim was talking about, means that you're always going to have small class sizes at Simpson. So you're really going to get to know your professors. You know, as we've heard time and again tonight, they're going to know your name. You're going to form those close relationships. So that's the type of experience that you're going to have. You're never going to be in a large lecture hall with hundreds of other students at Simpson. You're always going to be in those small class sizes. We do have over 80 major, minor, and pre-professional programs, so plenty of things. I know that there's a lot of interest out there tonight, different interests from you guys. And we certainly heard from Bobby about all the great internship opportunities at Simpson. But I did also want to mention that 100% of full-time students do receive financial aid from Simpson. The way that we kind of get started, the way that all students receive financial aid is through our merit scholarship, which is based off of your high school GPA. So all students at Simpson do receive that merit scholarship. There are other scholarship opportunities as well. That merit scholarship is just the first way. We do have stackable scholarships as well that you can apply for based off of special interests. So there's a lot, just a couple though. We have speech and debate, music, theater, Wesley Service Scholarship if you're interested in community service. So there's certainly a lot of ways that you can work to bring down that cost of attendance to come to Simpson. So what should I do next? So for those of you who are going to be seniors, I would definitely recommend setting up an individual virtual visit so you can do another visit like this, but just have it be a little bit more one-on-one, so you can meet with your admissions counselor to talk about the process, talk about a little bit more in depth about financial aid, meet one-on-one with a professor to talk about the area of interest that you would like, meet with a coach if you have an interest in athletics, and then of course to go on a tour with a current student. So you can either do that like through Zoom if you're more comfortable doing a virtual visit right now, or we did just open back up for on-campus visits. So you could certainly schedule something on campus as well. And you can certainly just go on our website to get that scheduled or reach out to your admissions counselor. Also at this time, our application for fall 2021 is now available at simpson.edu. So you can go onto our website to complete that app. There's no application fee, so I really do recommend if you have any level of interest in Simpson, just go ahead and complete that application. It should only take about 10 or 15 minutes for you to get that done. Once the app is completed, we will need your official high school transcript and then your ACT or SAT scores if you are applying through the traditional route. I do want to mention that Simpson is a test optional school. So if you have a 3.0 GPA or above, you can choose to apply to Simpson without sending in your test scores. So if you've taken the ACT or the SAT already and you feel like Your scores are not reflective of who you are as a student, what you're capable of, and as long as you have above that 3.0, you can choose to apply test optional. So just know that there's the test optional track and then the traditional track as well that you can apply. And then letters of rec, that's something else that you guys will be doing right now during the summer for those of you who are seniors. Letters of recommendation are not required for the application, but we do just recommend sending them in if you can, just because it's nice for our admissions committee to have a little bit more information about who you are, like what you've been involved in high school, things like that. So if you want to take the time to do that this summer, you certainly could and get that sent in along with your application. And then definitely check out our fall events calendar on our website for more virtual events and on-campus events as well. This is a list of just some of the virtual visit programs that we have coming up. On July 29th, we are doing a visit specifically to learn more about the honors program. Then we're kind of breaking out and doing some more regional visits. So we have things broken up for students who are specifically coming from Wisconsin, Texas, Missouri, Kansas City area. And then we are doing another general visit day like what we did tonight on August 5th. So if you really enjoyed tonight and want to do it all again, you can join us on August 5th. And then just pay attention because in the fall, we will be doing more of these series, but focusing on academic. So if there's an academic area that you really want to learn more about, we will be doing those in the fall. And then if you guys just want to stay connected with us, you can check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and just remember to use the hashtag #OneSimpson if you are going to be tagging us. And that is really everything. So if you guys have any additional questions, please either enter them in the chat now, or if you guys want to just unmute yourself to ask a question, you can certainly do that too. I don't know, Mark, I know you've been moderating the chat. Did any new questions come in while I was covering the admissions and financial aid piece? Do you have any more questions?
Sorry.
Oh, you're okay.
No, there were no new questions that came in, but I am going to put in a link where you can find your admission counselor through our website based on where you live. So if you have any questions that come up between now or whenever, you can go and you can find your admission counselor and they will get back to you as quickly as possible with any questions that you have.
Okay, yeah, great. Thank you for sharing that, Mark. So like as Mark said, please don't hesitate to reach out to us if you do think of any other questions. And I do hope that you guys will decide to sign up for an individual visit so that you can get more of your own personal questions answered. So either virtually or on campus, we'll be more than happy to host you guys. So if there are no other questions, I think that is everything for tonight. So I really just want to thank everyone who spoke tonight. Thank you so much for your time and for being here. And to all of the students out there as well, thank you for joining us. And like I said, I hope to see you guys all on campus soon. Thank you, everyone, and have a great night.